Hello, my wonderful family, and welcome back to Imi's African Folktale Stories, the home of emotional, inspiring, and unforgettable stories. The old mirror in Elena's bedroom had never spoken a single word, but every morning it reminded her of the pain she carried inside. Sometimes she would stand there for many minutes, touching the deep stretch marks across her stomach. They looked like tiny rivers running across her skin, silent memories of the day she gave birth to her twins, Maya and Leo. Before pregnancy, Elena had been known as one of the most beautiful women in her town. She had smooth skin, confidence, and a smile that turned heads wherever she went. But after giving birth, everything changed. Her body changed. Her confidence disappeared. And sadly, so did the love in her husband's eyes. John never slapped her or shouted at her in public. His cruelty came quietly. Whenever Elena dressed up, he would look away. Whenever she smiled, he would scroll through photos of young women on his phone. One Sunday morning, while she was serving breakfast, he looked at her and sighed. "I never thought you would let yourself go like this." The spoon slipped from Elena's hand. Her heart broke into pieces, but she stayed silent. That night she cried until sunrise. From that day, their house became colder than the rainy season in the mountains. They lived under one roof, but they were strangers. Elena looked at her little twins sleeping peacefully and made a decision. If this man cannot love the woman who gave life to his children, then my children will never grow up seeing their mother treated like she means nothing. Before dawn, she packed 3 suitcases. She carried Maya in one arm, Leo in the other. And without looking back once, she walked away forever. Life was not easy. Elena moved far away to another city where nobody knew her story. She changed her surname and started again from nothing. During the day she worked selling houses. At night she came home exhausted, cooked food, washed clothes, helped with homework, and prayed that tomorrow would be better. She became both mother and father. The children never slept hungry. They always had uniforms for school. Even when Elena had no money for herself, she made sure her children never noticed. The whole neighborhood admired her strength. But there was one subject nobody was allowed to mention. Their father. Whenever Maya asked, "Mom, where is Dad?" Elena's face became hard like stone. He wasn't a good man. When Leo asked, "Does he know us?" she answered softly, "Forget him." Whenever they asked again, she would simply say, "We are enough." Years passed. The twins grew into intelligent, respectful young adults. But as they became older, so did their questions. Their classmates talked about family trees. School projects required family medical history. Friends looked like their fathers. Leo would stand in front of the mirror wondering where his jawline came from. Maya often asked herself why her eyes looked different from her mother's. Still, Elena refused to answer. The silence became heavier every year. Everything changed on the twins' 18th birthday. While cleaning the attic, Leo found an old envelope hidden inside a dusty box. Inside was a faded document with part of John's old address and the name of one distant cousin. Out of curiosity, he searched online. One message became another. One conversation became many. Within weeks, an entire hidden world appeared before them. There were grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, family photos, birthday celebrations. Old pictures of John smiling while Elena was still pregnant. Even more shocking. Every single relative believed Elena had disappeared with the children without explanation. Nobody knew where they had gone. The twins sat in complete silence, staring at the phone. Their entire lives had been built on only one side of the story. That evening the house exploded with emotion. Maya stood holding her phone with shaking hands. "Mom, Dad is alive." Elena froze. "He lives only a few hours away." Silence. Leo stepped forward. He never stopped searching for us. Elena looked away. He abandoned me. But did he abandon us? Leo asked. Tears filled Elena's eyes. He hurt me. But you never gave him a chance to know us. He didn't deserve you. Leo's voice rose. Maybe not, but we deserve to know him. The words landed like thunder. For the first time in 18 years, Elena had no answer. Then Maya whispered words that broke her mother's heart forever. I feel like we grew up as orphans, when our family was alive. The room fell completely silent. Elena felt as though the ground beneath her had disappeared. A week later, the twins packed their bags. They drove away to meet John. Elena stood alone at the gate, watching the car disappear until she could no longer see it. The house became painfully quiet. No laughter. No music. No arguments over television. Only silence. For the first time in years, Elena had nobody left to protect. And in that silence, she was forced to face herself. Night after night she stared into the same mirror she had hated for so many years. Slowly she realized something painful. John had wounded her deeply. But she had allowed that wound to shape her children's entire lives. She had confused protection with fear. She had hidden the truth because she herself could not bear to face it. The realization crushed her. She began therapy. She cried. She prayed. She wrote letters she never sent. And every day she hoped her children would one day answer her messages. Almost 1 year later, Maya finally sent one text. Coffee tomorrow. Elena read it 10 times before believing it. The next morning she arrived early, her hands trembling so badly she almost dropped her cup. Soon Maya and Leo arrived. They looked older. More mature. More distant. But they came. Nobody spoke for several minutes. Finally Leo broke the silence. We met Dad's parents. Elena nodded quietly. They are kind people. She swallowed hard. And Dad admitted he was a terrible husband. Another silence. He said he was shallow, selfish, and ashamed of how he treated you. Tears slowly rolled down Elena's face. For years she had wanted those words. Now they brought no victory. Only sadness. Maya looked directly at her mother. We know everything you sacrificed for us. You worked yourself to exhaustion. You loved us. You protected us. Then her voice became softer. But love cannot survive without truth. Elena reached across the table with trembling hands. I was broken, she whispered. I believed if your father entered our lives again, he would destroy what little was left of me. She looked at both of them. So I built walls around all of us. I thought I was saving you. Instead, I stole part of your story. Her voice cracked. I am deeply sorry. Nobody rushed into dramatic hugs. Nobody suddenly forgot 18 years of pain. But something small happened. Maya slowly reached across the table and gently held her mother's hand. Leo quietly wiped away his own tears. It wasn't complete forgiveness. It wasn't the end of the story. It was simply the first small step home. And for Elena, that tiny touch meant more than anything else in the world. Because she finally understood that scars on the body fade with time. But scars hidden inside the heart can only heal when truth is allowed to breathe. Sometimes the strongest mothers are not the ones who never make mistakes. Sometimes they are the ones brave enough to admit them, ask for forgiveness, and patiently rebuild the love they almost lost. And that journey, painful as it was, became Elena's greatest act of courage. And that brings us to the end of today's emotional story. Sometimes, the deepest wounds are not caused by hatred, but by love mixed with fear. And sometimes, healing begins when we find the courage to tell the truth and ask for forgiveness. What do you think about Elena's decision? Did she do the right thing by hiding the truth from her children, or should she have allowed them to know their father from the beginning? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. If this story touched your heart, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe and share it with your friends and family. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Until next time, remember, every family has secrets, but love, truth, and forgiveness can open doors that pain has kept closed for years. Take care, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next story.